Essentially, surfox is just a electric passivator. Essentially, it's got all these settings, but you can do it. This is a fixed 12 volt 10 amp battery charger. So I'm going to show you. So what I'd recommend is you get the surfox part. So this is just the wand, and it's got carbon brushes. I've tried to make these in the past, and obviously you're not going to make these carbon brushes, but I've made things like this in the past, and it's best to just buy this. So I just ground the end off and wrap the wire around it. You can find a better way to do this. This is the positive side. So what I'm going to do is, this is just negative. I don't have a clamp, but I'll kind of demonstrate it for you. You can get a little bit of the surfox well, it's actually surfox T. So you can put it in your brush there. The real machine has a wand. If you wanted to get fancy, I'm sure you could get a replacement wand, but okay. So what that is, I'll wipe that off so you can see. You want to zoom in on that, passivated. Okay, not the best weld, but okay, we're just demonstrating the passivator. So now what I'm going to show you is the marking side. So with the same setting, you're going to want to get the surfox M, and I'll get a plate and I'll show you with that. Again, this is the surfox T. This isn't a video on how to do this, because I have a video and you want to hit this with neutralizer and clean it and all this stuff. This is just a video on kind of the budget passivator, what you can do, electric weld cleaner, if you will. But if I remember, I think this was around a couple $1,000, $4,000, I think. So I mean, if you can do it cheaper, you can do it cheaper. So I'm just gonna pull this off and use this as a demonstration, because so this is again another budget way of stencil transferring. You can get the thermal paper from Kugatron and the all this stuff, but if you, let's say if you weren't doing high volumes of this, you could get a decal, and I think maybe a decal might be a couple dollars. But if you're doing not as many, what you can do is get a vinyl, either maybe a Cricut or something like that. But this is the surfox M for marking, and I'd say it's never been a concern like of the cost of this stuff. Like, I know that these tips are expensive, but they last a bit. But it's not like the etching compound's expensive. So what we're gonna do, I'm just gonna hold this ground cable on. You can obviously you'd want to clamp it. I'm just gonna. You have to get so much liquid in here for it to actually contact. It might be a little bit. I just folded a rag over itself, because if you don't have enough, it won't. Make sure this is plugged in here. I might. Well, it's working because it's changing the color, but there's a big gap in here for this rag, so it might not. It's a fine balance. You don't want something super thin.
There, already started.
Okay, so I just only have one layer on here. You gotta be mindful, if you touch the, you see it's gonna arc. So you don't want to, you want to make sure you got something that's a little bit durable. So, and you can kind of hear the material or like the stainless kind of boiling a bit. And you can see it's kind of putting some dirt onto there, so. So, well, it doesn't, you know, maybe you could increase the voltage to, I don't know, you could probably get a DC power supply, because the other, some of the other ones are a little bit more powerful. I feel like after this, I'll measure the voltage so you can get an idea of what the actual power supply should be. But you can see it's okay. I'll peel this off, and so you can see it's working. It's just you want to take your time with it, but again, you get a good view of that.
Yeah.
Do you see the contrast?
Yeah.
But that's a pretty decent, cheap way, is to just get a crooked or something, and you can create some different stencils. So looking at the surfox, it's actually running at 13 volts AC. I mean, the DC obviously does work. I think you could probably get away, if you were doing some marking, you could get away and put a like a power supply on it with more. But yeah, that worked well for the passivation and stuff. But again, this is just a cheap battery charger. The surfox T for the acid, the surfox N for the neutralizer, and then the surfox M for the black marking.